Welcome into this latest edition of the Charleston County Connects podcast. I have two folks here with me from Public Works, John Martin, Sheila Parker, and we are going to be talking about the intersection improvement projects on Fort Johnson Road. Two sections, right? So we have one, Fort Johnson at Secessionville Road, Fort Johnson at Camp Road. And Sheila, I'll start with you. How did this project come to be? What was the need you guys identified out there on James Island?
Yeah, so this derived from the 2016 transportation sales tax, where the town, the DOT, and the county recognized the need for intersection improvements here at Fort Johnson, Secessionville. There's been several accidents in the past 10 years, I think upward of 50, maybe even more than that, vehicle collisions. And I think there was also a pedestrian fatality. So it's been deemed a very dangerous intersection. If you go out there today, it's just flashing yellows and stop sign controlled on the side street, which is Secessionville. So it introduces a lot of uncertainty and to make the decision of who has the right of way, who goes next, at this four-way intersection. So improvements needed to be made here. It's been a long time in the making.
There's a big safety concern.
Yeah.
Both those intersections.
Oh yeah, both of them.
So what are the primary safety improvements that you're going to see that the commuters and pedestrians will see out there, starting, let's say, with Fort Johnson at Secessionville Road?
So for Secessionville, you're going to have, instead of the flashing yellows and the two stop signs on Secessionville, you're going to have a full-phased traffic signal with like the pretty mast arms. So you'll know, okay, I stop when it's red, I go when it's green, so you know when it's your turn to make a maneuver. And then we're adding, the sidewalks, nice new brand new sidewalks, taking in those pedestrian safety considerations. So a really nice upgrade here. And we're adding left turn lanes off of Fort Johnson onto Secessionville. Today it's just 2 lanes, so adding that third lane to turn left will help, just divide that traffic to where people need to go at this intersection. So it really, just the lane assignments at this intersection will help traffic flow and keep everyone, in their lane. Like, stay in your lane is a real thing here. So
the most obvious way to drive safely is stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
And then Fort Johnson Road at Camp Road, that intersection project.
Yeah, I mean, one issue at that intersection was, especially if you're coming off camp and you look right, the line of sight there is not very good. It's hard to see. And people tend to speed often on that road. So the roundabout will slow traffic down. It'll make visibility a lot better there. And the big thing, slowing traffic down will make it a lot safer. Not just for vehicles, but also for pedestrians who are doing something similar there too, with crosswalks and sidewalks around that intersection.
So I was looking at the news release we sent out here in February about the public meeting, and one of the things they identified for Fort Johnson and Camp Road, a transversable urban compact roundabout. Mr. Martin, you're going to have to explain that one in English for us.
Really, what we had to do here, we wanted to reduce impacts on trees in that area, and also the taking of right-of-way. So we did that. This roundabout is smaller, and because it's small, we had to make it traversable for large vehicles. So like tractor trailers, the fire department, anything like that, so they could drive right over it if they needed to.
I gotcha.
That means. Yeah. So they can just drive over it, won't damage anything. And if you have a really large vehicle like that, when we did a traffic study, there's not a lot of those big vehicles like that on that road, but there's always going to be some. So we had to design it that way. So there wouldn't be any landscaping or anything in the middle of the roundabout like you see on some of them.
And I think that's what's really impressive about some of the engineering work you guys put into these is you have to think about every possible scenario and then figure out what's the best way to accommodate the traveling public and what's the best way to accommodate the pedestrians as well. What's been What's been the effort, when it comes to feedback from residents out there? I mean, 2016, so there's had to have been a large amount of public feedback when it comes to this project.
Oh yeah, prior to, going to construction on any of these projects, we have a public comment, public feedback period, a very rigorous one for projects of this magnitude. So yeah, we would present alternatives in the beginning and then whittle it down to the proper alternative for each intersection. So mine's a signal and his is a roundabout. And
Okay.
a lot of other engineering goes into that decision as well. Like you got a warrant for a signal based on traffic volumes and that kind of thing. And then right of way is a big consideration of utilities. These corridors are kind of, they're tight, and all the
Yeah.
utilities are fighting each other for space. So you have like Dominion poles, you drainage, you have CWS, water infrastructure, you have sewer. So there's so much to take into account when doing
Right.
these intersection improvements.
How do you guys accommodate for like the drainage impacts in these areas too? Anything additional going in when you're doing the intersection improvements?
There is. Both intersections are going to have drainage improvements that go along with these projects to help mitigate any increases in runoff that the project may cause, and also just to improve what was already.
Yeah, a lot of times we do have to improve what's already existing.
Okay.
A lot of these pipes are aging. They're DOT pipes, and it's hard to continue the maintenance of really old infrastructure. So we just come in, replace it, add more, drainage boxes or pipes or whatever it needs to be
Yeah.
put in there with the new improvements, and so that you're always seeing just everything's improved, not just traffic, drainage improved, traversing the corridor is more efficient. So just everything is being improved all at once.
Which makes a lot of sense. So when you're going to take on a project of this magnitude, you're going to go in and fix everything as best you can within the budget that you have available.
Within the budget, because these things take some time. So we don't want to put in an improvement that needs, retrofitting or revisions a couple years later. And so we want to do it right and do it right once, and that's the best way to spend taxpayer money.
What was the thought process in going after these intersections at the same time? They're both under construction. Did it just make sense to do them all at the same time, even though one has a traffic light, one is a roundabout?
I think the primary reason why we wanted to do that was really to save on cost. We could do them both. That would reduce our cost a little bit, especially with mobilization and traffic control and things of that nature. And I think that has helped with these projects.
Yeah, I mean, these projects were, conceived at the same time. So, one, during the process of design and permitting and public feedback, all of that happens on the front end of these projects.
Yeah.
One project got ahead of the other at one point, but it ended up working out to where we can, build them at the same time. And it saved on a lot of contractor fees and mobilization costs, and just tackling them at the same time was very cost effective. And they're only a little over half a mile apart. So really.
It also helps with the utility relocation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To do those because they're so close to each other. It makes sense to kind of do all that.
And the contractor's been able to bounce his crews back and forth between the two intersections. It's actually helping us stay on schedule quite well.
I hear the term mobilization a lot when it comes to road projects. Is that really just finding a location for the contractor to store equipment and making sure they can get assets where they need to go?
I mean, that is part of it.
It's part of it. Mobilization is just basically literally mobilizing their crews, bringing all their equipment, their backhoes, their crews, and everything, and getting on site. And so, there's a lot of a cost associated with that upfront mobilization and getting all the crews and equipment on site and storing it, and all the pipes associated and the concrete, all of that, asphalt.
I think the real magic question now is, so what's the timeline look like? When do you think we approach that substantially complete date?
That should be the substantial completion date should be a little over a year from now.
Okay.
It's possible it could be earlier if we can get through all the different stages of construction efficiently and quickly, and that might very well happen. And part of that's going to be depending on like obtaining certain materials that we need for the project. Sometimes that can delay if we have some major weather events or some unexpected utility issue. But right now we're moving along very nicely.
Mhm.
We're on schedule, and I think if we can keep that momentum, we should be able to finish definitely on time, if not earlier.
That'd be great. So 2 updated, improved intersections on James Island. So I think the traveling public very much look forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
Anything I didn't ask you guys about? Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, we're going to have lighting at the roundabout, and there'll be a little bit of landscaping there. The stone monuments that used to be there, we relocated them for the project, but they'll be put back at the end. And the town, they have an easement for those 2, and they're going to maintain that. I think they might do a little landscaping around the stone monuments. So the whole aesthetic of that intersection should look a lot better than what you see now.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're soon going to close the intersection of Fort Johnson and Secessionville for construction. Right now, it's down to 1 lane, and we have flagging operations for that. But we, at our public meeting, revealed a detour plan that will be implemented during this time. And we're lining it up with spring break, this full road closure, so that we can minimize traffic disruptions on James Island, because Fort Johnson is a heavily traveled
Yeah.
corridor. So that'll help, keep people and commuters on, less disruptions for their daily commute, basically, is the goal here.
Especially when school's out.
Especially when,
week, so,
school's
yeah.
out, it makes sense to do it that week. So, that's really the new, that was like the big news at our public meeting this week. So, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Well, certainly appreciate your efforts and look forward to seeing how this project moves along. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.